So hello, welcome to YouTube. Okay, so welcome to my channel Thoughts. I'm Lavnish. In this channel, we'll be talking about some real life issues and how we can resolve them. So some simple topics as well, debate, discussion, so that we all can engage in communicative and really, I say, actual discussion. So let's start. So the topic today I've taken is should gym classes account for your grades? Um, Along the way, as the video progresses, if you have any thoughts as to how this channel should improve or any thoughts related to the topic, I'll be more than happy to understand them and to understand your point of view. Because I feel that it's necessary that all of us engage together, um, as one, all of us talk and really discuss about these topics, not just for the sake of discussion, but just to discuss and understand the importance behind these topics. These topics might seem very let's say non-important, but then they hold importance because these topics might be related to our future generation, right? And our current generation as well, don't forget. So we'll start. So I'll just give you a brief outline. We'll be doing I'll be discussing about rather what gym classes are, how they're called as different names, like physical education or different education systems, how they deal with this as in the name. Then we'll be talking about some arguments for the topic, against the topic, with some facts and some graphs. And then lastly, we'll go to the conundrum. We'll talk about both the sides, both the issues together. And finally, you'll hear my views. So let's get started. Okay, let's start. So, gym classes. Gym classes are basically what? What are they? Um, They are basically these classes or sessions where students are supposed to do physical activity. You might remember them if you are a little, if you're above 20, you might remember them. If you're below 20, then you know what it is. Physical activities, jumping jacks, athletics, running, all most of them are timed just to check the physical endurance and fitness actually of every student. So let's go ahead. In different education systems we have different thoughts. Definitely different education systems have different names for this. In the US education system, mostly it's known as a gym class, whereas or a PE class, if you may. And then in the Indian education system you have HPE, that is health and physical education, PE, physical education. Yeah, just these small names, but they have huge importance as well, right? So I've just given you a brief outline of them. If you know more names, please do write them in the comment section below. Now, this usually starts when a child is in grade one, right? When a child is above, I can't guess an age, but then definitely there are different ages. If you go by the Indian education system, which I have been in, then it starts in grade one. So let's get started. Right. Let's talk about some viewpoints and understand them. So let's talk about some of the arguments against it. Let's go the unconventional path. So um, some people believe that the gym classes grades should not be taken into account when you consider students. Number one, the reason being that most students fail gym classes. A study conducted in Chicago said that 1 in 10 students fail PE or physical education. So, if you thought maths was worse, which I don't think it is, then let's just say that there is some redefining to be done. Right. Then also, if you go with let's say the second argument is that the PE classes are not tailored for everyone. Right, there are some students who are moderately obese or overweight, moderately obese or overweight, who cannot perform such activities, yet they are, the grading system is wrong, rather, because they're graded under the same system, which doesn't account for their perseverance. Because being I won't say fat, but then being, having a higher BMI, rather, it is challenging to do. I also know this very well. It's really challenging to do some of the physical activities, right? Jumping jacks, because the amount of strength we have to put in, um, if a normal person want to do the same amount of strength, or put the same amount of perseverance or strength that they have, um, that we have, right? Or the people that, who have a higher BMI, then they would be able to do a lot more. So let's say a person who has a very high BMI can do 24 jumping jacks in 30 seconds, right? Which is a little high, but then yeah, if a normal person does the same amount of hard work or effort as that of a person who has a higher BMI, we would start to see that that person could, instead of doing let's say 40 jumping jacks in 30 seconds, that person can do 120, let's say. So it doesn't it's an unfair system, because you are grading students on the basis of a very fixed and a rigorous method of correction, whereas it doesn't account for the person's individual ability. Now, the University of Chicago, okay, Consortium on School Research, Hidden Risk Report. So it analyzed some Chicago public school students from the 8th and ninth grade, and it found basically about the grades, and it found that the sharpest drops in the grades, or the GPA as it's called, came from non-core subjects, basically extracurriculars or co-curricular activities such as PE and art. Right. And also one more thing. Some people, not adequate practice is also given for these class. If you're going to take an exam, you need to at least learn the syllabus, right? The teachers must teach the syllabus, right? But in PE classes, what happens is there's not enough of practice done. So it is not a fair system, right? If you're going to grade. And sometimes, teachers take these classes to complete their own portions. So how does it work out? Now let's look at the four arguments. I've already done some annotations here and there. Um, so the four arguments is that if they consider this was a GC SE result, so PE GCSE result for England students in England, age 16. I'm not sure about the year, or maybe around 2019 itself. So this is I think the graphical form as well. This can be the graphical form. So we'll look at this more. We see that a small percentage of students, both girls and boys, fall in the F category, but a majority of students fall in the A, B, C category, right, for the grades. So the top three grades. So this is one of the four arguments that even though some people say that the grades are less, some people feel that, on this spectrum, if you're thinking, they're doing excellently well. So what do you want? Right. And students actually can devote more time to these, because grades currently, some grades, they don't reflect the physical and mental well-being of a student, but these can, at least the physical part as well as the academic part, right? So some people say that, yes, we should include these grades. They should be more inclusive so that students know what they're doing. Now, let's go to the conundrum. Conundrum, for those people who don't know, it's a dilemma. And let's see the student's grade scale. It's marked at not yet, getting there, got it, and wow. In case you're wondering why these annotations are here, actually I recorded a video, but then for the same purpose, just to upload it on the channel, and then I was on mute the whole time. Not an issue. So I annotated a lot of things here and there. Um, Anyhow, so we have these four things, right? So we can see that some students do very well. The dilemma is that some students do well and some students don't do well. So how do we choose the students, right? And this leads me to my thoughts. My thoughts on this situation are would honestly be schools, if they want to, or education systems, if they want to include the grades, well and fine. But it should be done with the consent of students. If students want these grades to be done, included, they can be included. So what I'm proposing is a system where it's all individual basis. Basically, the individual or the person thinks about this. Example, every year the teacher may ask the student, do you want your PE grades to be reflected on your report card, or do you want them just to be given to you separately and not as a part of your result? The student can decide. So it should be up to the student to decide. It should not be, you can't just take a very firm decision, right? Make it inclusive, make it proper, because some students, cannot do these activities. If schools want to include them as grades, then they should really consider having different marking systems for different students with different BMIs. Because it's not fair. Right? There are some students whose BMIs are, I know we have to be normal, but that doesn't really mean to be a very rigorous correction, because a person who has a higher BMI might just be here on a scale of 2.25. But a student who's really healthy can be here. I'm not judging people. I'm just overall, as an overall idea. It is true that some people who have a higher BMI can do exceptionally well in sports, and I totally agree with them. But then there is some difficulty, right, in athletics. Being a person who can relate to it, I understand everything, right? So that is definitely one thing that I would like to ensure, that people must have this liberty to do so. With this, the thoughts are over. As always, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any suggestions, please do let me know. Again, I've not been reading off a script. I've just been literally speaking what comes to my mind, and this is the whole aim of the channel. Um, if you wish to subscribe, you may do so. I won't force anyone to do it, just because I feel, it's up to a person. Uh, Not in a rude way, but then definitely for me as well. If I want to subscribe, I will. If I don't, I don't. And frankly speaking, I won't feel bad. So you can just go ahead and do whatever. If you want to dislike it, like it. Surely, like it as well. But definitely, all your comments, I will try to go through them. If you have suggestions for a future video, please do let me know. And that's it. I'll be meeting you next time. Just make sure that all of you are safe. This is a COVID pandemic. Just make sure all of you are safe. Wear your masks, gloves. Yeah, that's about it. Stay tuned to this channel. We'll have more updates coming in, more videos, and definitely more thoughts. Thank you. Bye.